Okay, class. So for this session, we'll be uh, we'll be discussing yung mga continuation topics natin last time. Okay. So nung last time, we have these topics. Okay. So last time we have discussed about um, adjustment layers, right? Where we have identified adjustment layers as like alternative ng image adjustments na na-discuss natin before. Sa adjustment layers, what we have done here is we have applied yung tinatawag nating mga adjustments, image adjustments, yung brightness or contrast, o kaya vibrance, your saturation, no? The main difference ng adjustment layers, unlike last time, yung image adjustments, automatic nag-fit in, nagma-merge dun sa image, yung mga adjustments natin. While pag sinabing adjustment layers, yung mga adjustment natin sa images are being applied separately on different layers. Okay? And then we have also discussed yung mga healing tools natin before. So na-discuss natin yung part kung saan tinry nating i-clean up yung t-shirt na to, no? So we have use spot healing brush tool, patch tool, red eye. Also we have added yung clone stamp tool. Okay. And then next to that is yun, yung photo retouching. Next to that is we have discussed yung brush tool and the eraser tool, where almost lahat naman pag sinabi meron silang, let's say, healing brush tool, spot healing brush tool, o kaya simply brush tool, eraser tool, same lang din yung shortcut if we're going to resize yung brush size natin. Tapos we have also discussed yung for every tools na ginagamit natin, nag-option bar tayo. Tapos we have also discussed how to load new brushes kung meron tayong new downloaded brushes. Tapos we have discussed yung layer mask, where it is very useful, especially kapag nag-fine tune tayo ng mga selections natin. And also black means black means erasing the visibility, tapos while retaining still the image. Tapos pwede natin i-restore yung part ng image by painting white naman. So yung example natin dyan is layer mask, this one. Okay, so the idea is if we paint black, we are removing some parts dun sa image. Kapag white, we are displaying. Tapos katulad yan, so kitang-kita natin yung image natin dito, yung part na to, kasi naka-white area yung nasa layer mask natin. Tapos naka-gray para hindi ganun ka-strong yung pag-erase. Pero black is basically yung erase dun sa layer mask. And yun. So na-discuss natin lahat yung mga yan ng last time. And then of course, clipping mask, where the idea ng clipping mask is simply meron tayong ginagamit na object. Right here, ang object ko is yung text. Tapos naglalagay lang tayo ng, let's say, an image. And then when we do create clipping mask, pwede rin natin siyang i-release. Okay, so right-click create clipping mask. And last time, ito din naman yung object natin. Ayan. Tapos we created the clipping mask, where we just put an image and then right-click create clipping mask. So those are just recap dun sa previous discussions natin. And throughout dun sa mga next discussion natin, possible na magamit pa rin natin yung mga ito. Okay, so in continuation. So for continuation, ang ating topic will start with text tool. Lesson 4, let me open up yung module. Okay, so mag-start tayo, class, with Lesson 4. Though we have discussed na yung other topics ng Lesson 4, if you can still remember, I have skipped yung other topics like yung integrating text, no? Pero yung kulang na lang natin dito is just actually yung integrating text, adding patterns, no? Yung tsaka yung filters, yung brushes, clipping mask na try na natin yon. So, dito tayo focus text, filters, patterns, tapos I'll be adding yung gradient tool. Tapos, yun. Tatry natin sila sa different examples din. Okay? Okay, so let's start up with sa module integrating text. Okay. So when we integrate text in Photoshop, we're just simply clicking this icon, yung T. So ito yung tinatawag natin text tool. And then sa text tool, meron tayong different options here. So normally ginagamit natin dito yung horizontal type tool. And then when we click that tool, we can add a text, pwede natin i-edit, tapos gagamitin natin si option bar para ma-apply yung mga different options, mga quick options. And then we'll be also using yung mga formatting, different formatting options pa using character and paragraph panel. Okay, so let's start. So let me create a new document. Okay, so ito na, meron na tayong new document. Let me save this. Okay, game. So in using a text tool or adding a text, just click lang yung text tool natin dito. And then when you click on it, especially horizontal type tool yung ginagamit natin. So when you click on this tool, just proceed agad dito sa ating option bar. So ating option bar natin, it offers these options. Ito yung font faces na pwede natin magamit. Ito naman yung font weight. Font size. Ito yung font weight. Hindi lahat ng font meron silang font weight. Like yung merong bold, italic, regular, thin, light, etc. So if I'm going to use, like for example, a font, wait lang. Okay, so if I'm going to use a font, for example, like that. So I set a font, kaya pwede tayo mag-type dito, like Railway. Yan. So I have selected a font, tapos font weight, and then font size. Yan. Dito sa font size class, though we are seeing 72 pt, it doesn't mean na hanggang 72 lang yung size ng font na pwede natin mailagay. Pwede tayo mag-type dyan na gusto nating size, let's say 150, ganun. Kaya 300. So pwedeng dagdagan yung size ng font. Tapos, ito naman yung alignment ng text. Then, we can start working with text tool. Sa text tool, tingnan nyo class. Kapag nag-create ako ng text using text tool, when I click on here, kahit hindi na ako mag-add ng new layer, automatic, click tayo dito automatic, may nakikreate ng new layer agad. Okay. Yan. So after typing a text, I clicked move tool, so I can move this text, of course. And then if you want to modify this text quickly, you can just click again yung text tool. Tapos, over lang natin yung mouse pointer. And then we can click here. Okay. Now, common mistakes ng iba is pag-click sila sa text tool, tapos pag gusto natin nila itong i-edit, they can just, minsan, malaki lang kasi yung text ko. So, bawasan ko siya. Let's say, like that. So, minsan, pag nag-click sa text tool, tapos, let's say, naka-zoom in kasi ako. Pero, when you want to edit this text, tapos nag-click ka somewhere here, as long as you're seeing yung mouse pointer niya na meron siyang rectangular marquee, like this yung nakikita nyo ngayon. Okay? So, kapag ganyan yung cursor niya, yung parang letter I na mayroong rectangular marquee, ibig sabihin, you're creating a new text layer. As in kahit gusto mo itong i-edit, pero pag ganito pa rin yung naka-cursor natin, then you click dito sa canvas natin, automatic, nag-create na naman ng panibagong layer. Okay? So, to edit your text, make sure tapat natin yung mouse pointer, tapos make sure yung rectangular marquee nawawala. As in, pag tinapat ko dito, like that. So, nawala na yung rectangular marquee. So, pag nawala na yung rectangular marquee dun sa mismong cursor, just click now, and then pwede na nating edit yung text na gusto natin. So, I can now select this, tapos select ako ng size, or type ako ng size, like that. And then I can also change yung color. Ayan. Change natin yung color. Okay. Then click. And ayun na. So, kung lang mag-add ng text tsaka mag-edit ng text quickly with those just simple formatting kanina sa option bar. Okay? So, okay. Now, next thing natin is ano yung tinatawag nating character panel tsaka paragraph panel naman. Okay? So, usually may kita natin yon dito. Ito. So, yung character and paragraph panel. So, from here, mapansin natin, meron tayong letter A na icon. So, ito yung character panel. Ito naman yung paragraph panel. So, kung di sila nakikita sa ninyo, workspace, just go to window, tapos click natin yung character. Ayan. So, window, character. And then, mag-a-appear na yung character panel. So, let me drag this here para mas madali natin makita. Ayan. Okay. So, from here, class, so I have this character and paragraph panel. Yung mga settings na natin dito, available din yung ibang settings for typography. Like, for example, explain ko sa inyo dito sa character panel. Nandito pa rin yung font faces na pwede nating magamit. Tapos yung font weight, kung medium, bold. Ayan. Tapos ito yung size. And then, ito naman class yung tinatawag nilang line height sa ibang application. Pero sa typography, tinatawag naman itong leading. Ito yung part na to. Okay. By default, nakaset yan ng auto. Ito namang tinatawag natin yung tracking. Ito naman yung horizontal spacing ng mga characters natin. So, typography, ang tawag sa kanya tracking. Okay, yung part na to. So, by default, nakaset siya ng 0. So, let me show you class yung dalawang to. Okay? So, una, let's say we have this word multimedia. When I press enter, after doon, so, nag-new line na, syempre. So, we are seeing here yung multimedia. Now, paano nagagamit itong tinatawag na leading? Okay. There are cases kasi class na kapag may paragraph ka na or meron ka ng text like this, may mga cases na masyadong mataas yung spacing or vertical spacing dito. Like yung spacing from multi papunta dun sa media. So yung spacing sa part na to. So ina-adjust yun nung leading natin dito. Pwedeng i-adjust. So you can select all of this. Tapos pwede natin iset yung gusto nating leading. Let's say, set ko siya ng 72. Yan. As you can see, the lower ng value, mas nagiging maliit pa yung vertical spacing. Yan. You can also over your mouse here para i-adjust, para may slider, click and drag lang natin like that. So to adjust yung vertical spacing or yung leading natin. Okay? Yung tracking naman dito, okay, nakaset sa by 0. Pero if I'm going to adjust by click and drag etong icon na to, yan, you can see na na-adjust natin yung spacing between characters. Like that. Okay? Yan. Between spacing ng mga characters din natin, class, there are cases na, let's say, halimbawa, ito yung spacing na ginawa natin. There are cases na gusto nating i-adjust yung tinatawag naman na kerning. So, typography, ginagamit yung kerning kapag ka, for example, may mga letters kasi na mas mahaba yung width nila compared sa other letters. Halimbawa, yung width ng letter M. Okay, from here, from left to right, yung width niya is magkaiba dun sa width ng letter I. Diba? So, sometimes, depende sa design, kailangan yung spacing ng I, kahit papaano, is ma-reduce natin para kumbaga maging balance sa optical yung appearance ng mga characters or layers. Minsan ganun. Minsan, pwede naman uniform yung sizing. So, kung ano yung spacing from M dito tsaka sa E, pareho. Yung E tsaka sa D, same. Yung D tsaka I, pareho din. So, kapag metrics, eto yun. Kapag metrics, ibig sabihin uniform yung sizing sa bawat letters. Kapag optical, automatic change na rin to ni Photoshop. Let's say, select ko to. Pag select ko siya ng optical, yan, nire-reduce niya yung sizing, usually ng spacing, kasi may mga letters ka dito na mas maliliit lang yung width nila. You can also adjust yung dito. Yan. But, depende yun sa size. Let's say, set ko siya ng metrics, tapos kunyari, select ko yung I, tapos babawasan natin ng values. Say, optical. Yan. So, pwede nating adjust dito sa kerning. But, ayun. Those three options are basically for spacing. So, vertical, horizontal. Ito naman, yun, kapag individually, pwede nating iset. Pwede rin dito. And then, what else? May mga fonts na wala silang bold, italic, etc. Let's say wala silang bold. Pwede natin gamitin yung option na to. In my case, yung font na gamit ko, let's say meron siya ditong extra bold. Ito yung bold text niya. Ito yung regular niya. Ayan. Ito yung theme. Ayan. So, merong bold. Tapos, meron siyang extra bold. Hindi lahat ganito Meron ding heavy. Tapos, kapag nag-click ka pa dito, yung faux bold, na tinatawag na option ng character panel natin, when you click here, mas magiging thick pa yung font natin. Okay? Tapos, ito naman yung sa faux italic niya. Yan. So, let's say yung font nyo wala siyang italic, wala siyang bold na ganong option, then magagamit nyo pa rin yung mga to sa Photoshop. Tapos, you can also try other options here. Tapos, change color. Yan. So, ganun lang for character panel. Next naman is yung tinatawag natin paragraph panel. Sa paragraph panel, usually naman, ito lang naman yung alignment, yung left, center, right, tapos justify. Yun lang naman yung mga options sa paragraph. Tapos, ito, character. Okay. Now, let's have another example class. So, since alam na natin paano mag-add ng text, paano mag-edit ng text, let me try this to add an image. Tapos, add tayo ng text afterwards. Yan. So my plan is to add some text here. Tapos, yung text natin, like, yung color niya maybe mga white. So, if I'm going to do that, I'd like to add some adjustment layer on this image. So, i-click natin yung button na to. Tapos, brightness or contrast. So, para magkaroon tayo ng adjustment layer for brightness or contrast. And then, ilo-lower ko yung brightness. And lower natin. So, para mas kita mamaya yung text natin. Kasi, balak ko doon sa text, white. Yung lalagyan natin text. So, to add some text. Here, I will just use text tool. Tapos, set tayo ng color na white. Yan. And then, I'd like to use like 150 pt. Tapos, you can use character panel o kaya option bar to change yung font. Let's say I'm going to use Roboto. Yan. Tapos, kiklik tayo dito. So, now, I will adjust yung spacing ng mga letters natin kasi siguro masyado silang hiwa-hiwalay or matataas ang spacing horizontally. So, I can just set it into auto. Tapos, ito 0 para ma-check natin kung ano yung appearance nila pag ganun. I think it appears good naman. So, yun, na-adjust ko siya using character panel. Now, ang next natin is, if you know how to edit, tapos basic format din sa paragraph panel. Meron tayong text alignment, warp text, pero bago yun, class, meron akong i-add. Okay? If we're going to add some, for example, a paragraph, okay, meron tayo dito ang asset. If you're familiar sa lorem ipsum text or lipsum, yan, so ginagamit yung dami text para sa mga let's say initial project, let's say web design o kaya graphic design, tapos gusto mo maglagay ng dummy na text instead of mag-type ka ng mga kung ano mga characters na ganyan para lang sa content or dummy content mo, you can just use this content na. So may mga ganyang contents naman, masa-search naman sa Google yan, lorem ipsum. Tapos, so click ko yung text tool, set ko yung size, let's say 30. No. Siguro click na lang tayo. So let's say mag-add ako ng paragraph. Meron tayong 2 ways class to add a paragraph. Okay? 2 ways. Ito yung first way. So click lang tayo dito. Tapos paste. So i-edit ko siya. Select ko lang. Change ko lang yung size into 30 pt. Yan. So ito yung first way to add a paragraph. Yung first way in adding a paragraph is makiklik ka lang using text tool tapos paste. Okay? Ngayon, yung paragraph natin, as you can see, masyadong mahaba, kaya it appears na parang lumabas na sa canvas yung text. Diba? So what you can do here is you can just click text tool, tapos baka maisip ninyo, eto na lang gagawin, no? So just, ang gagawin na lang is press enter, click, press enter, press enter. Baka ganito yung naisip ng iba, or baka ganito yung way kung paano mag-add ng paragraph. But technically, hindi ko ito nire-recommend kasi hindi ito adjustable, no? Kasi kapag nagbago yung design mo, tapos ito pa rin yung text mo, tapos let's say meron kang object somewhere dito sa bandang right side or maybe left side or what you will do here is ibabalik mo na naman sa dati, tapos i-adjust, mahanapin mo yung part kung saan pwede kang mag-new line. Pag nag-press enter ka ulit, i-apply mo na naman yung ganun setting. Hanapin mo na naman yung part saan pwede mag-new line, tapos enter. Tapos yun, hanggang sa tumagal ka sa kakagawa mo ng text, kaka-edit ng paragraph na to. So, hindi ko to na-recommend yung ganong way. Okay? So, to add a paragraph class, ito lang yung nire-recommend kong way basically. So, ito yung text tool natin. Tapos, gusto kong mag-add ng paragraph, di ba? Instead of clicking anywhere, ang gagawin ko lang is I can just click and then drag, okay, in order to create a text area or text box. So, mag-click and drag lang tayo. Pag ginawa mo yan, magkakaroon ka dito ng text box. Tingnan nyo, meron siyang handle. Pag nag-paste ako dyan, automatic class, nandito na rin yung lahat ng paragraph, hindi nalalampas sa canvas kasi nandito yung text area ko. I can even adjust this. Yan. So, in that way, automatic nag-new line na agad yung mga text ko. I mean, nagla-wrap yung text ko dun sa text area natin. Diba? Tapos, I do also recommend let's say, pwede natin i-adjust to like that para tama lang yung text area natin. And then, there you have it. Meron ka na paragraph na automatic na adjust by clicking text tool. Click ka lang dyan, tapos yun na. Okay? So, that's how you add paragraph class. Okay? And then, sa resizing naman, aside from using character panel or option bar, and then aside from adjusting here or typing font size, I do also recommend trying working with Control T, yung transform, yung na-discuss natin before. So, pag Control T, let's say, i-click ko yung layer ni bamboo, ng bamboo layer, tapos Control T tayo. Control T. So, when I do that, magkakaroon ng handle, of course, yung text natin. Tapos, pwede natin itong i-resize. So, kanina, yung font nito is somehow nasa 150 yung size niya. So, kapag na-resize pa natin yan, i-hold ko yung shift, for example. Tapos, habang dinadrag ko siya, para lang uniform yung size. Like that. You'll notice, class, na yung font size niya naging 185.98 na. So, ibig sabihin yung ginagawa natin yun na resizing is okay pa rin. Walang problema. Kasi nag-a-adapt yung natin, font size. Kung ano mang size yung i-apply natin using Control T. Okay? Right, class? So, yun yung ating ways on how to add some text. So, meron tayong title, meron tayong paragraph. What's next? Okay. So, yung next dito is yung paragraph panel. Anong alignment yung gagamitin natin? Okay? So, let's say, gagamit ako ng center. So, i-center ko yung paragraph by clicking this. Yan, nag-center na. Tapos yung bamboo, center ko din. Yan. But in this case, totally ginawa natin, naka-center si bamboo. I mean, yung alignment ng text na bamboo, centered. Yung alignment ng text ng paragraph, centered. But what if gusto natin sila aligned properly, pareho to each other, di ba? So, to do that, class, ang gagawin lang natin is this. Gagamitin natin yung mga alignment options natin dito sa option bar. So, meron dito ng vertical center, horizontal center, align horizontal center. But merong requirement bago sila maging visible or bago sila magamit. As you can see here, pag nag-click ko sa bamboo or dun sa lorem ipsum natin na paragraph, you'll see na naka-disabled sila. So, meron kasi silang required bago sila magamit. Ang requirements is dapat meron kang 2 or more layers na selected. So, halimbawa, it makes sense naman kasi halimbawa, yung bamboo tsaka yung paragraph gusto natin naka-centered sila with each other. So, dapat select natin sila both. So, hold mo yung control tapos click ka dyan. So, selected yung title tsaka yung paragraph. When you do that, meron ka ng 2 selected layers. Then, enabled na yung mga buttons natin like this, horizontal center. Okay, so when you do that, nag-click ako doon, automatic mapansin natin na nag-center na yung bamboo tsaka yung paragraph with each other. I said with each other, but not totally within the canvas. I mean, centered sa mismong canvas. So, that's another step naman. Okay? So, since na-center na natin yung bamboo tsaka yung paragraph, like this. Yan. So, gagawin ko ngayon dito, class, is maybe I can select maybe I can select these tapos i-group ko sila. So, ito yung text. Yan. So, meron akong group ng text. Tapos gusto kong i-center yung buong yan dun sa canvas natin. Now, si background represents yung canvas itself. So, sinselect ko siya, tsaka yung text folder. Like that. Okay? So, nung sinelect ko yung text, sinelect ko yung background, you'll see class na pwede nating i-click kayo ng horizontal center. Ayan, tapos vertical center. Ayan. So para sure ako na naka-center sa horizontally and vertically. So ayun, class. Meron na tayong text tapos na-align na din natin. Okay. So yun sa text alignments. Next natin will be yung warp text. Okay. So before that, meron ba tayong question? Okay, so pag meron tayong question, you can just unmute yourself or chat sa chat box natin. Alright, let's continue with the warp text. Okay. Warp text is basically the idea yung text, chine-change natin yung shape orientation niya, anything. So, ganito lang. Let me just duplicate na lang yung text kanina. Okay, so from here, let's say I have this text, yung bamboo. Now, gusto nating i-warp, for example, yung text na to. So to warp this text, like sabi ko nga, change natin yung shape orientation ng text. Okay, click lang natin yung text tool. Then gusto natin siyang i-edit. If you want, you can select this. Tapos, just go to option bar, makikita natin tong icon na to, yung warp text. Okay, so again, select ko yung text. Tapos click natin yung warp text. Then meron tayong makikita ditong warp text na dialog box. Like that. Then let me select, let's say arc upper, arc lower. Yeah, so as you can see, class, na-adjust natin yung shape orientation ng text. We can also adjust yung distortion. Like that, diba? So in my case, I can maybe select this. Tapos, set natin sa 0. Yan. Then I can click OK. Ang kagandahan sa warp text, like this is, na-change natin yung shape orientation ng text. Also, we can click this text tool para ma-edit pa rin yung text. Pwede pa rin siyang palitan. Okay. Pwede pa rin siyang edit. Okay. And then, you can just add some new text here. Tapos, character panel. Ayan, apply lang natin yung mga na-try na natin na adjustment. Tapos, horizontal alignment. Okay. So, from there, napag-create tayo ng output like this. Okay, right. So that's warp text class. Tapos, add ko rin itong text and shape or path. Okay. So yung add text and shape or path is ganito lang. There are times or there are maybe cases na gusto nating ilagay yung text siguro natin or maybe paragraph. Kasi kunin ko ulit yung paragraph na to. Let's say gusto nating ilagay yung paragraph in a certain shape. Nakasunod sa shape, pwedeng ganun. Okay. What you can do here is you can add text using a path. Pwede ka mag-create ng path using pen tool. Kahit line lang o kaya create ka ng shape. Pwede mo rin gamitin yung nandito. Yung mga to, gawa din sila sa path parang pen tool din. So they are like vectors here in Photoshop. So gawa din sila sa path. Tapos let's say gagawa ko ng ellipse tool. So i-click ko yung ellipse tool. Tapos when I click that, I can select here path. Okay. Ako in my case, I am just using shape para nakikita ko na din yung shape. Let's say, tapos select ko yung black color o kaya ibang color. Yan. Pwede natin lagyan ng stroke. Ito, nakaset lang siya into none, kaya wala siyang stroke. You can also set some colors dun sa stroke niya. So when you click and drag, mapansin nyo dito class na yung shape, black siya with orange stroke, di ba? So you can click again, ellipse tool, set ko into none yung stroke, and then I can start drawing yung ellipse dito like that. And then when you do that, nag-a-appear dito sa properties. Ito, yung properties, yung settings ng bounding box, yung color, etc. Pag gusto na pa rin natin i-edit. Okay, so yan. So meron na tayong path. Okay, ang point ko dito is gusto natin mag-add ng text in a different manner. Let's say gusto natin nakasunod siya dun sa shape. Let's say circular shape like this. So I can just click text tool. Tapos click ako dito. And then paste, Control V. And as you can see, yung text natin, sumunod siya dun sa ellipse. Diba? Dun sa shape ng ellipse. Let's say 0. Like that. Yan. So as you can see, class, ano man yung settings or i-apply natin na options dun sa text, sinusunod pa rin niya yung shape na nilagay natin, na ginamit natin, I mean. So yung ellipse tool. Sir, pag nag-drawing ba ako ng different path dito, let's say, kung ano mang shape, etc., susundin pa rin yun ng text. Yes, as long as path siya, or let's say, gawa sa pen tool. Pwede yun. Okay? Tapos, kung ayaw mo ng or gusto natin tanggalin yung ellipse, pwede naman. Kasi automatic yun nakikreate. Kapag nag-create tayo class ng path, or let's say, shape from here, no? So automatic yan class na wait lang. Automatic yan nakikreate na yung layer niya. So I can just click and delete this. So para ma-remove na yung black. And then yun, as you can see there, nandun pa rin yung text. You can still edit this, and then yung path still remains dito sa text natin. So sinusundan lang ng text yun. Kumbaga para nagkaroon tayo ng custom text box or custom text area. Okay? So, anong ginawa ko doon? Nag-create ako ng ellipse tool. Tapos, nag-paste lang tayo ng text. Okay? Nag-type lang tayo ng text inside. Yun lang. Okay? Alright. So, since alam na natin kung paano mag-add ng text, mag-edit ng text, etc. So, how about installing fonts. Okay, so pwede kayo mag-download class ng fonts. Basta check nyo lang mabuti yung mga fonts na gagamitin. May mga fonts na free to download naman. May mga fonts na for personal use lang. May mga fonts din na para magamit sila in some way, let's say, gusto natin gamitin for commercial use, ganun. May mga ganong fonts na kailangan magbayad ka muna ng certain fee. Tapos may mga fonts din na may mga dapat may attribution, etc. So, mga ganong klaseng license. But, as long as meron ka magagamit na fonts, na-download, free download, yan, pwede natin silang install. So, in my case, meron ako dito fonts na na-download. Like here. So, normally, yung mga fonts ay sila. Like this, naka-zip, naka-compress. So, pwede natin silang i-extract. Tapos, ayun. Makita natin, meron kayo makikita mga OTF or TTF file. Yung mga to. Yan. So, yung mga to, pag na-extract mo na yung mga fonts, just select all of them lang. Yan. Select lang natin sila. Kung ilan man yan, isa, dalawa, o marami. And then, right-click. Tapos, meron tayo ditong option for install. So, when you do that, may install na yung font sa machine and then applicable na yon. Magagamit natin sila. Any software gamitin natin, Microsoft Office, applications, text, Word, PowerPoint, Photoshop, magagamit na natin yung fonts once na-install na sila. Okay? And then just to give you additional idea sa text natin, ayun na, meron tayo nito, di ba? So, as an additional idea lang din, so pwede nating lagyan ng blending options yung mga nagawa nating text, pwede yan. So, katulad ng discussion natin before, to access blending options, just double-click lang yung layer or right-click lang, tapos just click blending options, di ba? And then, from there, meron tayo ditong, let's say, stroke, like that. And then, let's say, select tayo ng stroke. So, as you can see, ayan siya. We can adjust yung size. But you'll notice here, class, na meron siyang positioning, naka-outside siya. When you click inside kasi yung stroke, papasok siya sa mismong mga, natin, letters. Ayan, so, outside yung gagamitin ko, and then click OK. Like that. Okay? So, meron na tayong stroke. Ang maganda dito sa blending options is you can turn this on and off. Tapos, if you want to edit, double-click lang din. O kaya, right-click, blending options. Just click here. That's a stroke. And then, maybe I can set it into white. Then, kaso pag white, di na masyadong kita. Ayan. Just click OK. And if you can still remember, I have distinguished last time yung difference ng dalawa, opacity tsaka ng fill sa layer natin, di ba? Yung opacity, it represents yung transparency na lahat ng nasa layer na to. Pero kapag fill, transparency lang ng original content ng layer. So, ang original content niya is yung bamboo, pero yung stroke, hindi. So, ang gagawin niya, pwede natin transparent lang yung mismong bamboo, pero yung stroke still there. Okay? So, that's why you're seeing here like an outline lang. Kasi yung fill, ginawa kong 0. Also, class, lastly, about text in Photoshop or almost in any software naman, texts are normally vectors. So, that's why every time you change sizes, ayan, every time na baguhin mo yung size niya, hindi na babago yung quality. So, they are like technically vectors. Kapag ganun, vector sila, pwede natin silang i-rasterize din, syempre. May mga cases na kapag rasterize yung image, meron tayong ma-apply na additional options or settings. So, I can just right-click here, tapos rasterize type. And that way, magiging normal image na lang tong image natin. Still, naka-retain pa rin naman yung mga effects, blending options. But, tinurn off ko yun, mawawala na. So, kung naka-retain pa rin yung effects, still image pa rin to. Pag image na siya, pwede ko nang gamitin yung eraser tool. Tapos I can erase this part. Like that. And so as you can see, class, dahil na-convert ko na siya, na-rasterize ko na yung layer. Yan. So, na-apply na natin yung ganitong settings. I mean, ganitong effects here. Yan. So, that's why na-erase ko na kasi na-rasterize na natin yung text. So, yan. So, yun class yung about sa text tool. Meron tayong mga questions pa? Or proceed na? Okay. Sige. So, let's proceed with filters. Okay. Filters is basically mga special effect na available sa mga photo editing software like Photoshop. And even sa mga other applications like kung sa mobile, yung mga mobile photo editing software, usually mga naglalaban ng mga software, almost ang nagiging advantage nila is yung mga filters na ina-apply or yung mga beautification for the images or different effects. Yan. Sa Photoshop, meron tayong mga filters na pwede nating magamit in a different way, maybe just for fun or maybe just to add more emphasis or focus, pwedeng ganun. Sa module natin class, after ng text tool naman, dinidiscuss din dito yung filters. Okay? Filters can be applied to anything sa image natin sa Photoshop. But if you want to retain yung properties or quality ng image or mga details ng image, you just have to convert yung image mo muna into a smart object. That's why dito sa module natin meron nakalagay na ganito. Yan. So gusto mo ma-retain yung, let's say, yung properties ng image without damaging it, convert mo siya sa smart object tapos you're gonna apply filters. If you apply filter or filters sa isang smart object by doing right-click, smart object, pag in-apply mo ng filter yan, ang tawag sa kanya, sa filter niya will be smart filter na kasi smart object siya. So kapag hindi smart object, nilagyan mo ng filter, then filter lang ang tawag doon. Pero kapag smart object siya, nilagyan mo ng filter, then smart filter na yung tawag. Yun lang. Pero yung papakita ko sa inyo is yung normal step on how to apply filter. You can just try to use yung step here. Pero yun, pakita tayo ng ibang example din on how to use filters. So let me open up an image. Maybe this image. Okay. All right. So let's say we have this image now and then gusto ko siya lagyan ng filter. So first things first na ginagawa natin is nag-duplicate tayo ng layer. Tapos apply filter, eto lang, napakadaling step. Just click mo lang yung image, then punta ka dito sa filter menu. Then, ito na yung mga filters na pwede mong i-apply. Just explore yung mga filters dito. Yan. Minsan gusto mong i-blur yung image, so you can just click blur. Normally, ginagamit yung Gaussian blur. Motion blur naman kapag may mga blur effects na ginagawa na applicable pag may motion, something like that. So, Gaussian blur is yung normally ginagamit kapag blur. So, kiklik ko to. As you can see, nag-blur, pero hindi pa yon. Meron pang options na mag-a-appear dyan. You can adjust yung blur state ng image natin. Yan, di ba? I can click OK. I can also click cancel, syempre. So, filter. Aside from mga ito, kung nalala nyo pa dati, tinry natin yung render, lens flare. Kung nalala nyo pa yung discussion before yung may nag-photo manipulation tayo, merong UFO, merong something. So, yan yung lens flare. So, merong ngayon sa Photoshop. Yung parang, yun nga, flare nung sa lens, tsaka ng sunlight. Yan. Cancel lang natin. Pag ayaw. So, filter. Meron din tayong filter gallery. So, filter gallery offers wide variety of filters na pwedeng i-apply. Ganun ulit, pwede nyo ulit i-explore pati yung mga settings natin. Yan. Yan. So, I clicked OK. That's why yung image natin has this filter applied. Okay. Now, how can we use filter in a different way naman, different manner naman? So, since meron naman blur effect dito sa dito sa Photoshop, meron siyang blur effect. Gusto kong i-apply in a different way yung filter. Maybe, like, I would like to add some focus. Kunyari, okay. Kunyari, gusto natin mag-add ng focus on this area. Maybe, dyan sa part na yan. Wait. As you can see, baka nakapansin niyo yung difference, no? Yung in-encircle ko na part na to, eto, medyo mas crisp, mas sharp yung visibility ng mga strawberries compared dito sa mga nasa labas. So, medyo blurry na yung effect ng iba doon, no? Kasi nasa ano to, yung settings ng pag-capture ng image dito sa ano na to, sa mga strawberries na yan. So, kaya nagkakaroon ng blur dun sa part na yon is, ayun, capability yun nung sa camera para magkaroon ng focus or more visibility dito. Now, sa Photoshop, we can also add more. We can also add more visibility. Pwede tayo mag-add ng sarili nating blur kung walang blur yung image, or let's say kung medyo mahina yung pagka-blur niya, we can add more. Okay, dito sa image na to. So, ang gagawin ko ngayon is duplicate ko yung layer, tapos pwede kong gamitin yung eraser tool, o kaya pwede kong i-select yung area, pwede kong erase yung part na to. Ayan, diba? So, pwede natin i-erase yan. Kaso, ang idea na pag i-erase ng part na yan or area na yan will damage yung image natin. So, meron tayong much better option to that. So, instead of using that, pwede natin gamitin yung layer mask. Pwede kong gumamit ng lasso tool, halimbawa. Tapos pwede kong i-select yung area na to. Pwede rin naman yung ganito. So, duplicate natin. Control J. So, para makuha natin yung area na yan. Kaso, hindi uniform yung pagkaka-cut natin. Tapos, may mga parts or areas na posibleng makat natin this way. So, what I'm going to do is, I can add a layer mask. So, by clicking this. Ayun yung layer mask natin. Tapos, mag-paint lang tayo ng black. So, punta tayo sa brush tool. Yan, naka-black. Tapos, yung options natin. Yan. Hindi masyadong smooth. Sakto lang. 60%, 50%. Yan. And then, I can just start painting some black here. Yan. So, meron tayong layer mask, diba? So, I can start painting some black area. Yan. But we can also restore yon kapag nag-paint over tayo ng white. Diba? So, sinet ko naman ng white yung brush. So, para ma-restore yung part na yan. So, katulad discussion natin last time about layer mask. So, let me adjust pa yung smoothness. Tapos, erase natin yung part na to. So, maybe hanggang dito sa area na yan. Okay. So, in this way, hindi natin totally na-damage yung image kasi nag-layer mask naman tayo. Okay. Tapos, siguro, konti dito sa baba. Blur din natin. So, just like to add focus on this part. Tapos, maybe adjust ko pa yung smoothness. Yan. Okay. So, gusto natin mag-add ng focus on this area. So, yan, mariretain natin yung image na to. Now, ito turn on ko yung sa background. Okay? Pero, duplicate na lang ako ng background. So, in my case, ito yung merong layer mask. Tapos, ito yung magsisilbing blur background natin. So, itong layer na ito, i-blur ko siya using Gaussian blur. So, filter, blur, tapos Gaussian blur. Tapos pwede natin adjust yung blur effect. As you can see, by adding more blur, mas nagkakaroon ng focus dun sa image natin. Pero wag naman sobrang blur. Yan. So, medyo yung tama lang na makapag-add tayo ng focus on this area. Then maybe I can click OK. This is just an example. Yan, so sa layer mask. So as I'm brushing using layer mask dito, yan, napansin natin na nagkaroon ng more focus dun sa area na target natin kanina yung part na to. So this time, ayun, so meron na tayong layer mask, niretain natin yung part na to, and then yung the rest, binblur natin. So yan, nakapag-add tayo ng focus dun sa image. Okay? So that's just how you add filter class in Photoshop. Filters. Okay. And then, okay, let's proceed siguro dun sa pattern. Okay, so I have created a new document. Tapos, pattern. Okay, pattern. Sige. So, add tayo ng image. Yan. And then, okay, so let's say I have this image now. Gamitin natin siyang example. Sa module natin, meron din tayong topic about patterns. Okay, so what is a pattern in Photoshop? Pattern is simply an art daw or an image which can be displayed repeatedly tiled. Okay, so i-display siya repeatedly in a tiled manner. Okay, so kapag tiled, kumbaga parang mga normal na tiles. So, dikit-dikit, no? And then by square, tapos repeatedly, parang inuulit lang yung display. So, kung meron tayong image like for example, eto yung mga dogs like this. So, meron tayong step-by-step procedure dito sa module on how to define your own pattern. So, meron kang image, tapos meron ditong edit, define pattern. Yun lang. Tapos magka-pattern ka na. And then you can fill an image with patterns like this. As you can see, yung image na to repeatedly tiled na naka-display ngayon dito sa image. So again, ganun lang yung pattern. Tapos yun, yung sa lesson 4. Pero sa atin, i-add ko mamaya pati yung sa gradient, etc. Focus muna tayo sa pattern. Okay? So sa pattern class is meaning yung image na to, pwede natin takpan ng panibagong output na may automatic pa ulit-ulit yung display ng image. So to add a pattern, meron ditong option, edit, tapos fill, pattern, etc. Pero ako, in my case, mas ina-apply ko yung ganitong format. Ito yung other step to add a pattern. Okay? So you can right-click yung layer, tapos blending options. So again, right-click, blending options. Tapos, let's say, I can click this pattern overlay. Ako gusto kong ina-apply yung pattern sa ganitong way kasi I can turn on tsaka turn off yun pag gusto ko man. Tapos pwede ko pang i-adjust ulit by double-clicking or right-click blending options. I can click here, tapos select ako ng pattern. As you can see, ito yung original image ng pattern. Meron pang iba katulad nito. Ang original image niya is ganyan siya. Tapos dahil repeated siyang na display, ito na ngayon yung output. Like that. We can also adjust yung scalability. Tapos click OK. So sabi ko nga, ang gusto ko dito sa ganitong way is I can turn on and turn off yung pattern. Okay? So I can still add more image. Let's say add ako ng PNG image like PNG. This one. So add ako ng PNG image like this. Tapos pwede ako mag-add ng pattern dito sa image na to. So paano mag-add ng pattern? Right-click lang. Right-click, blending options. And then pattern overlay. Tapos, ayan. And I can click OK. Right. Now, sa Photoshop class, meron mga default patterns. Okay. By default, yung mga patterns na available sa Photoshop, I believe, depende sa version ng Photoshop. Pero, in my case, hanggang dito lang. Yan, sa pattern na to. The rest, yung mga nakikita niyong polka dots na yan, like this, ay niload ko lang. Okay, as in, nag-download ako ng pattern, tapos niload ko siya. Parang brushes, pwedeng mag-download, tapos pwedeng i-load. So, in my case, meron ako dito patterns. Okay, na na-download na. Then I have here, let's say, polka dots pattern. Tapos, normally, pag nag-download tayo, there's a possibility na image yung ibibigay sa yung mga images. Tapos, ikaw na lang magde-define ng pattern kung ano yung nakalagay sa module na step. Sundan nyo lang yung step ulit doon. So, but normally, nandito lang yan sa may edit. Tapos, meron tayo dito may kitang define pattern. So, dun lang naman yun. So, in my case, again nga, possible na ganito yung mada-download. Possible na pattern agad. As in, .pat yung extension. Pag .pat, mas okay kasi ilaload lang natin. So, to load patterns, you can just right-click tapos blending options. Since dito naman yung way na sinabi ko kanina, paano mag-add ng pattern. So, pattern overlay. Tapos, when you click here, class, as you can see, now, when you click here, and if you're going to select patterns, mapansin nyo na meron ditong gear icon. Okay. Dito sa gear icon na to, meron tayo makikita dyan na load patterns. Then you can select yung pattern na gusto natin. Diba? And then click load. So ulit, dito, tapos yung gear, load patterns, and then, ayan, then click load. In my case, na-load ko na kasi. Yung niload ko na patterns is eto, yung mga polka dots na yan. Ayan, in real world application ng patterns, yung iba, ina-apply nila in some way, hindi masyado, pero in some way na-apply to. Siguro yung iba, gumagamit sila ng patterns, siguro nakapansin ko before. Tapos, gagawin nila siya parang background, diba? Alam ko na-apply ko to before, tapos nag-create ng invitation. Yan, or some designs like that. Kung ano mang design yun, tapos may text overlay, kung ano man. Yung iba, ginagamit nila as background. Yung iba for invitation or what. Invitation siguro sa mga baptismal or birthday or what. Mga pambata, mga ganun. But yes, yun lang. Ganun lang kadali. Ginagamit yung pattern. So you're just applying pattern from blending options. Yun yung isang step. Okay. Okay, next naman natin is paint bucket and the gradient tool. Last time, ginagamit naman natin si paint bucket, pero papakita ulit natin tsaka si gradient tool. Okay, so let's continue. Create tayo ng new file. And then, create ako ng new layer. Yan. So, normally, ginagamit naman natin si paint bucket before. So, itong tool na to, nakikita ko to available sa kahit anong, mostly kahit anong software, photo editing software, maybe, nakatulad ng Photoshop or Paint. Kahit sa Paint, meron yan. So, paint bucket tool. Tapos, select ka lang ng color. Tapos, sa Photoshop, nag-create ako ng new blank layer. Tapos, you can click here. So, that layer will have this background color. Diba? So, using paint bucket. I can also click new layer. Tapos, pwede akong mag-create ng sariling shape. Let's say, gagamit ako ng elliptical marquee tool. Ayan. Tapos, mag-select ako ng color. Yan. So, as long as blanco yung layer, tapos meron akong selection, ito lang. So, kapag nag-click ako dito, meaning, ito lang yung malalagyan ng layer kapag paint bucket tool. So, using paint bucket tool, click lang tayo dyan. So, as you can see, yun lang yung nagkaroon ng color. Okay. Control D. Also, you can add let's say, gusto mo naman ng ibang shape. Let's say, you want rounded rectangle tool. Gaya na pinakita ko kanina, mga shape tools to. You can click that. Tapos, select ko yung fill. Ayan, okay. Ang kagandahan dito, class, sa mga shape tools natin, kapag nag-drawing ka ng shape like that from there, automatic na i-create na rin yung layer. Tapos, nag-appear yung properties dyan. Ito yung properties. Pwede natin i-adjust yung color na gusto natin or dyan. Even without using paint bucket tool. Pero if you want to use paint bucket tool, tapos let's say gusto mo katulad siya nung circle, katulad dyan, pwede natin itong i-rasterize actually. So right click, rasterize layer. Tapos using paint bucket tool, you can just select a color like that. And katulad ng circle, click ka lang dyan. So, magkakaroon na ng color to. Okay? So, ganun lang sa paint bucket natin. We can also add a new layer, maybe. Tapos, I can use my pen tool to create a triangle like that in a new layer. Pwede kong i-click yung make selection. Tapos, from this layer, yan. Let's say a triangle. Right. So, we have now 3 shapes and lahat yan, ginamitan natin ng paint bucket tool for coloring. Let me duplicate those and then let me try naman yung gradient tool. Okay. So gradient tool is ito yung blending, no? Blending ng 2 or more colors. Tapos pwedeng yung blending na ina-apply natin could be like linear style or radial. Okay? So dito sa gradient tool class, pag nag-click tayo dyan, mapansin nyo dito sa option bar, meron na siyang mga options. Meron tayong drop-down menu dito or option to select a color na gusto natin, a gradient color. I can select maybe this color or this color. Tapos pwede kong select yung orientation, pwedeng linear, pwedeng radial dito. So linear is technically from the term line. So yung blending ng colors per line yung distribution. Kapag radial naman, from the term radius, so circular naman yung distribution ng blending ng color. So I'll be using linear. Tapos sa drop-down menu, nag-select ako ng color. Tapos, in this case, let's say gusto ko lagyan ng color yung circle using this gradient color. Unlike paint bucket tool class, sa gradient color, ganito yung mangyayari. Kapag maglalagay ka ng color, dapat click and drag, as in click tapos drag. Pero in this case, ito yung mangyayari, class. In this case, mapapansin niyo na na-paint over yung buong layer ng ganong color, natakpan na din pati yung circle. So that is not the good way on having this, having a gradient color here sa circle. So what we can do is to select this circle muna. Halimbawa, gagamit ka ng magic wand, i-click mo yan. Tapos yung gradient tool, mag-click and drag lang tayo. That way, safe yung pagko-color natin sa layer na to. Safe na yung color, dito lang siya sa circle na to. Kasi meron tayong ginawang selection. Kaso, class, what if masyadong complicated na yung shape mo or yung object mo, then gusto mo siyang i-select, diba? Halimbawa, in this case, i-click ko yung magic wand. Pag nag-click ako dyan, hindi naman select yung yung buo, etong circle na to. Okay? So, kung medyo complex na yung ganyan dati, I will advise this step. So, meron akong technique class na ginagamit to select this object even without using any tools dyan. Okay? Even without using any selection tools, I mean. Or yan. So, to select this circle, even without using any selection tools doon, what I'm using is this. Tinatapat ko lang yung mouse pointer dito sa thumbnail. Diyan. Okay? Tapos, i-hold ko yung control sa keyboard. So, pag in-hold ko yung control sa keyboard, tapos nag-click tayo dito, as in, i-click ko lang yan, automatic na select na yung circle natin. Try natin sa iba. Let's say yung triangle. So, hold ko yung control. Papansin niyo yung cursor nag-iiba. Ayun siya, nagkakaroon siya ng parang rectangular marquee. So, hold ko yung control, tapos i-click ko yung thumbnail na to, ng triangle. And you'll see na na-select ko na yung triangle. Diba? That way. Ulit, hold ko yung control. And hold ko yung control. Tapos tapat ko dito sa thumbnail. Kiklik lang natin. And you'll see here na nasa-select natin yung object without even using any selection tools. So, applicable lang kahit images, pwede yan. So, in that way, I can now add a gradient color. Okay. Sir, paano naman pag gusto namin na sariling colors yung i-apply namin sa gradient? So, paano yun gagawin? So, gagawin mo lang is punta ka dito sa gradient tool. Ang in-apply kasi natin dito, class, is yung mga nasa drop-down, di ba? So, you can click this mismo, yung mismong bar. So, click lang natin yan. And then, you'll see a gradient editor here. Okay? I normally choose black and white kasi mas kumbaga parang ito yung default na gradient, di ba? Tapos dito sa gradient editor class, dito sa bar na to, yung nakikita nyo dyan, yung horizontal bar na yan, meron kayo makikita ng black tsaka white. So ito yung mga tinatawag na color stops, or ito yung mga colors na or main source colors kung bakit nagkakaroon ng gradient na black and white dito sa horizontal bar, di ba? So pwede natin itong i-double click. Yan yung color stop. Ito dinouble click ko yung color stop. Tapos pwede ko nang i-change ng different color. Yung magka-pop up na ganito. Tapos change natin, let's say golden yellow. Tapos itong white, double click ko din. Let's say select naman ako ng yellow, neon yellow, something like that. Now, I can add more color by simply clicking anywhere below nung bar na to. So let's say click ako dito. Ayan, tapos double click ko siya. Let's say select ako na medyo orange. Tapos I can just drag this, or pwede ko nang i-reposition yung mga to like that. If accidentally nakapag-add ka, or let's say nag-add ka tapos gusto mo nang i-remove yung mga extra dito, ang gagawin mo lang is to click and drag them palabas. Ayan. Click, tapos drag palabas. Click, drag, like that. And then once na okay na to, you can click OK. Tapos dito sa layer natin, huwag kakalimutan yung control, tapos click sa thumbnail. So to select this circle, and then I can just click and drag this now. Like that. Tapos, drag the rectangle, click and, control and click lang. Tapos yan. And then dito, control click. Tapos yun. Right? That's just how you add gradient color. So in this case, I can just resize this circle maybe a bit. And actually you can add, or you can create something out of this. Let's say Control T. Select ko sila both. Tapos let's say yan. Hindi ko maybe resize. Tapos duplicate ko lang. It's like you can create a background, random background like this. Natin i-resize. Yeah. So in this way, we can add something like that. And as you can see, parang napag-create na tayo ng sarili nating background. Like that. Okay. So from there, class, so that's just how you add colors using paint bucket and gradient tool. Okay. Gradient. All right. So class, before we proceed further, do you have any questions so far? Sige, let's proceed. Okay, proceed tayo. So actually class, module natin, hanggang dun sa pattern siya natapos. So tayo, nilagyan natin siya ng may gradient tool, etc. So hanggang dun yun sa may lesson 4. Now, let me combine maybe some of the recent topics na meron tayo ng nakaraan. So, by having an example. Okay, so mag-open ako ng image from here. Tapos, okay, so ang concept na gagawin ko dito is something like apply natin yung text tool, no? Kasi meron akong text dito. So yung concept na gagawin ko is add ako ng text like that. And then maybe, in this case, I can apply maybe the layer mask. Tapos, what else? So, basta yung main idea is gusto ko like i-erase ko yung areas na to. Tapos ilalagay ko siya over din sa text, something na ganon. Pero lilinisin natin yung image. Okay. Kasi dito, as you can see, tinatakpan pa ng other color dito yung text. So it's like we're putting a text behind nung mga buildings. So dito, we might require, or We may require selection using selection tools, layer mask, tapos text tool. Maybe I can also use pen tool or other selection tools like that to edit this image. Okay, so sige, let's start from this. Una, siguro edit ko yung text. Ibayin natin. Say like that. So, ang goal ko ngayon is, yun nga, ilalagay ko yung text behind nung building na to. Still readable pa rin yung text. So, gagawin lang natin. Mag-add lang tayo ng konting extra detail. So, dinuplicate ko yung layer. Tapos, I can create a layer mask now. Actually, di ba? Para save yung image natin pag nag-erase tayo. Pero I can just do this first. Halimbawa, using my quick selection tool. So, pwedeng i-select ko muna yung areas na tatamaan ng text. So, dito siguro yung building na yan. Okay. So, let me select this. And using quick selection tool. I-hold ko lang yung shift para the more I scrub this brush, yan, kasama nang nase-select yung mga areas na to. Okay lang kahit may sobrang selection, pwede natin silang i-fix later on. Okay. So, pwede na siguro yun. And then after that, di ba sabi ko kanina pwede ako mag-create ng layer mask. So, ang ginawa ko, in this step, medyo ibang way naman. So, nag-select muna ako ng area. Tapos, I can now click this layer mask. Pag ginawa ko yun, class, mapansin niyo yung changes afterwards. Okay. Ginawa ko yun, yung changes will be like this. Nagkaroon ng layer mask, pero as you can see, you're seeing black everywhere dito. Ibig sabihin nun, kung ano lang yung selected ko kanina, sinelect ko to, di ba? Yung building na to, yung part na to. Sinelect ko siya, tapos nag-create ang layer mask, meaning, kapag kinlik ko yung layer mask, yung selection ko, yun lang magiging visible. Okay? Automatic, mapipaint over siya ng white. The rest, black. So, let me hide this. And so as you can see, yun yung selected natin. Still, safe pa rin yung image natin kasi if I'm going to choose brush tool tapos select ko yung white and then I paint over somewhere here, you'll see na nandun pa rin naman yung image na to. Okay, yung complete image. Like that. So, naka-layer mask lang tayo. That's why ito lang available. Automatic na paint over ng white yung sinelect ko kanina. So, sinelect ko siya. Kinlik ko yung layer mask. So, ito yung nangyari. Now, lilinisan na lang natin konti yung selection natin. Let's fine-tune yung selection with the use of layer mask. I can still use brush tool tapos black color. And then, I can adjust yung size, pati yung hardness. Pwede nating erase yung extra color doon. Kaso, masyadong smooth. So, I'll just try to erase yung part na yon. Okay. Yan. So, hindi ko siya actually ginamitan ng eraser, but rather, ginamit ko sa kanya is brush tool na black. So, black for removing areas. Now, may mga cases na medyo may complex part siguro or dun sa part na yan, sa area na yan. So, what I'm going to do is I can use maybe polygonal lasso tool. Pwede. So, click ko yung polygonal. Tapos, maybe I can select this area. Like that. And then, instead of hitting delete, ang gagawin ko na lang is mag-brush ako ng black within that area. So, para ma-remove yung blue sky. Tapos, meron pa. Dito, sa area na to, tatanggalin natin yung blue. I can use polygonal. I can also use pen tool. Sige, try natin si pen tool. So, here, select tayo ng area. Like that. Okay, then right-click, make selection. And then, again, hindi ko hinihit yung delete kasi masisira yung image natin na mabubutas yung image. So, gagamitin ko yung brush tool. Mag-paint ulit ako ng black. Ang kagandahan nung nag-create muna ako ng selection is hindi ko na damage na ma-erase yung iba. Okay. So, pen tool ulit tayo. Pwede ko na-select yung blue areas doon. Like that. And then I can make selection. Tapos, paint over ulit tayo ng black. Yan. Okay. Until we are sure na okay na yung image. Now, we have this tower now. Pwede pa nating, let's say, gamitan ng black. Let's say yung sumunod na, let's say white. Para maging visible yung isa pang tower dito. Like that. Tapos, linisin na natin yung image. Pero, I can just leave that to you. So, here, as you can see, basta makita niyo yung concept. So, ang concept na ginagawa ko dito is, ginamitan ko siya ng selection tool, nag-layer mask tayo, di ba? Tapos nag-add tayo ng text, like that. Nag-duplicate tayo ng layer. So, almost yung mga discussion naman natin nandito. Siguro yung iba, hindi lang natin gagamitin yung ang adjustments. But so far, we're just combining recent examples natin. So, what I'm going to do here is I can now adjust this. Na-drag ko siya over dun sa text. And there. As you can see, yung text natin ngayon ay eto na. Meron na siyang like building above niya. So, ito yung tinatawag na text behind effect. We can actually add more. Let's say, yung layer na to, mag-add ako ng drop shadow maybe. So, kiklik ko yung drop shadow. Tapos, i-adjust ko lang ng konti. Yung size. Spread. Visibility. Yan. So, like, just to add a little depth dun sa image. So, yan. So, that's an example class na in-apply natin yung mga recent topics natin. Okay. So, like that. Okay. So, another examples na pwede nyo pa ma-apply is, I'll give you an idea like this. Okay. So, ito yung tinatawag naman na multiplicity or clone effect na pwede natin magamit or magawa by combining yung mga na-discuss natin lahat from day 1, etc. up to now. So here, the idea to create something like this effect class. Ang idea is dapat meron kang naka-steady na camera. Kung ganitong effect ayan, as in yung naka-steady mo na camera, repeatedly, ang kinakapture niya lang yung place ng the same angle, as in same lahat, palaging same. Pwedeng meron kang taga-capture, pwedeng meron kang tripod, pwede ring improvise basta nakasandal yung camera somewhere. Tapos let's say meron siyang timer or meron kang let's say Bluetooth or something to control. Kaya pwedeng by timer for every 5 or for every 10 seconds nagka-capture ng image. So, pwede yun. Basta naka-steady yung camera tapos ikaw, papalit-palit ka lang ng location like yung ginagawa nito. And then, you can get those images. You can load all of them sa Photoshop. Tapos, you can apply selection tools, layer mask. So, to retain pa rin yung place, pero paunti-unti, pinipreview mo yung self mo in different images. Pinipreview natin sila maybe using layer mask or selection, etc. Something like that. Okay, so to achieve something like this. Now, a creative way to do this then is this one. As you can see, in-apply niya pati yung pag-resize ng self niya, nag-cloning, multiplicity, tapos ginamitan ng ibang background, color adjustments, etc. So, ganun din naman yung effect. Maybe in this part, it depends dun sa lighting na ginamit niya. Tapos, bawat poses, yan. And then, hindi na niya niretain yung background image na pinanggalingan niya like this. Kinuha na lang niya yung self niya. Then, he just combine all of those to create a sample like this. Okay? If you're familiar then sa tinatawag na surrealism, here, it's like, surrealism is an art, like way back before ilang years na, hindi pa digital, meron na surrealism. So here, the idea is like combining different objects, tapos combining with different concept, art, fantasy, etc. like that. If you're familiar dun sa latest commercial last time about dun sa RC, so surrealism din yung in-apply nila doon. Okay, so here, ganon. You can also apply these effects using Photoshop then by using yung mga different techniques na na-discuss natin. Also, kung naalala nyo pa na last time, we have an example before. Let me hindi ko ata na-save. Pero the idea nung example natin before is that yung merong UFO example before, tapos may planets, kung ano naman, tapos image adjustments. So, in-apply natin yun. Hindi ko siya na-save. Anyway, the idea is something like this. So, combining images like that, kinat using selection, fine-tune using layer mask, tapos image adjustments or color adjustments to combine something like this. And then, final output is this one. Okay? So, you can also create something like that by combining yung mga na-discuss talaga natin na lahat-lahat na. And then, this one is a good example then. Nag-apply ng proper light source or lighting dito. Tapos, mga different image assets. So, ginamit nila dyan to create something like that. Also, this one. Parang ito din. Yan. So, combine yung mga different images and apply. Ayan. Tapos, this one then. Like that. Alright. So, ayan class. So, you can also apply these settings, these effects. Pwede kayo makapag-create something like that by combining yung mga topics natin. So, yan.